The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
David Phelps, Discovery Box, don't miss Transfucker Radio every Tuesday night from 7 to 10.
Yo, this is the Hammer. Fred Ranger, check it out. Transfucker Radio, 7 to 10 every Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Do it. Be there.
This is Stephen Stahl. This is Trash Talking Radio. Yeah, Trash Talking Radio is a fun place to be. I appreciate you having us out, and I think everybody would enjoy and learn a lot by just coming and listening to Mike Trash Talk.
Hi, this is Harry, sanitary engineer, and you're listening to Trash Talk Radio.
Next question, Jeff, you're on.
Yeah. I just want to thank
TrashTalkerRadio.com
for all you do. It's still real to me, damn it. I mean, you're awesome. Thank you, Steve. Couldn't say that what needed. Say that. I don't want to see it, man.
Hey, I'm not trying to break that. You don't want to me down like that. I'm going to be dead.
Hi, this is John Romano on Trash Talk Radio. It is DJs from 7 to 10. TrashTalkerRadio.com.
Oh my god! No! Oh my god! No! No! It's Trash Talking Radio! It's Tuesday! It's 7 to 10! Hi everybody, this is Teka, and you've been listening to Trash Talking Radio on every Tuesday from 7 to 10. Listen, it's fun.
This is Danny Bonaducci. Nobody trash talks like me. That's why I quit the party family. A bunch of goofballs dressed up in red velvet suits. How embarrassing. If David Cassidy was there right now, I'd tell him what I think about it. Why? Because you're listening to Trash Talk, 7 to 10 p.m.
Trash Talking Radio Tuesday night. It's the best night of the week. And I'm here again. I'm just trying to wrap up the last couple things I want to plug into the thing. Though I was cleaning my studio, but I didn't finish cleaning my studio. So everything's not as it seems. I just want to make a couple quick things here. Share to which one is it? Share to a page. That's what it is. Alright, this one. And then they make you share to a page one at a time instead of letting you do the groups. Like with the groups, you can do them all at once. But the share to a page is only one at a time. And that kind of sucks because that means I have to do it 4 different times if I wanted 4 different things. And that is kind of a slow, monotonous thing. If I could do a macro that would do it all, that would be cool. But I don't seem to be able to do a macro. Alright, that should be the last one. Now, I should be able to actually go in the chat room and see what's going on. And, am I in? Am I in? Am I in? I am in the chat room now. Yay! Alright. I don't know. I think... I'm wondering if the one is working here. I'm doing a YouTube again, but it doesn't seem to be working. It seems I put all the settings in and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm doing something wrong and I don't know what it is, but it drives me crazy because it doesn't, do what I expect it to do. But everything else seems to be working. Twitch seems to be working. Twitter seems to be working. Periscope seems to be working. I understand that Periscope's going to be history here real soon, so I have to find another place to broadcast to. And alright, I think it's all working. I believe it's all working. Looks like the mix is up and working as well, so we're ready to go. I hope. I didn't check to see if everything downloaded the way it was supposed to, but sometimes it's fun to fly by with the seat of your pants. Alright. Hi. I got a visitor. Anyway, let's get things rolling, and I'm going to start with the dead people. We have, by the way, the intros are now going to be different. I decided the video is going to be the same for every week, but the intros are going to be different for every week because they're going to basically have different promos. So every week, the last 2 weeks anyway, have been different promos for each show. And it's just to kind of break up the monotony and, just kind of make it fun. All right, on to deaths. You had 3 of them, I think. Let me double check it. Yeah, we had 3 of them. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about, he actually died at the beginning of the month, and I missed it. The actor was Barney Miller, one of the Barney Miller characters, Gregory Sierra. And actually, if I remember correctly, he was pretty cool. He had a pretty good role in that. But he also was in, let me think, Sanford and Son. Yeah, that's right there in front of me. I should have just been able to read that. Sanford and Son, and there was another one too. It was in, anyway, he was 83. He died from cancer. So he was, I remember, I used to watch Barney Miller religiously every week. Mostly because my dad watched it and I didn't have much control over the TV. But I liked it. It was a pretty cool show. And I never watched Sanford and Son, but and it says something here. Oh, I missed this one too. This must have been a new one. I guess we'll talk about him too. But anyway, he died January 4th, and it's strange because I didn't see anything about it until January 23rd. And I didn't even see it in the Wikipedia section. So I don't know. He, for some reason, was overlooked. And the Wikipedia stuff, they really talk about just about anybody that was anyone. In fact, let me see here. I think, let's look here. Here's the Wikipedia thing. So if we go back to the beginning of the month, we're already at the end of the month, by the way. What did we say? We said the 4th? He died on January 4th. So if you look here on the 4th, he's not even in here. He got overlooked. That's a bummer. They have some people in here that I have no idea, like Anatoly Butenko, 82, a Ukrainian politician. I would have never known that. But yet, they couldn't remember to put him on there. It's really strange. But he's not in there. They even remembered Tom Aker, who was 90, an American baseball player for the Cincinnati Redlegs. I didn't even know there was a Redlegs. I guess that was way back in the time. So somehow they missed him. Anyway, yeah, that's poor guy. Got overlooked. So it says here after he left the series, after he left the Sanford and Son series, he played one of the original detectives working out in the diverse 12th precinct in Barney Miller. I guess he was with Sanford and Son first. He was written out of the series after the 2nd season to star in AES Hudson Street, sitcom about frantic emergency room, and it only lasted 6 episodes. He also appeared in Archie is Branded, a 1973 episode of CBS's All in the Family, where someone paints a swastika on Archie's door. So, I mean, he had a pretty good history, I think. But, yeah, he didn't even get looked at as on Wikipedia. So, and Bruce Kirby, it says here, has died. And this just came out on the 26th, and today is the 26th. So I just didn't have this one yet because it was brand new. And he was 95. Man, these guys in Hollywood are lasted a long time. But Bruce Kirby is of Colombo and L.A. Law, and he died at 95. His son, John Kirby, confirmed his death in a Facebook post on Tuesday. My father loved acting, and aside from an extraordinary professional career in television, film, and theater, he never stopped working on it from his early years. And it says here, it's very painful for him when he's no longer could perform. So I can relate to that. So that's one I didn't have on the agenda. I wonder if he's on the Wikipedia. I guess not, because that would be brand new. Let's pull it up here and see what they have for the 26th. 26th. He didn't make it yet, but he might make it yet. You never know. But yeah, such a shame. All right, next. What else do we got here? We got. Let's see. So that's Greg. He's done. I guess I don't need this anymore. This is the keyboard for the streaming computer. So I'll put this out of the way so I'm not typing on that thinking something's going to happen. We also have Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron died. He was 90. Where's that? He died. He was 86? 86. Yeah, 86. Hank Aaron was really a very interesting man because he helped revolutionize the baseball industry with the being a black player in the industry. It says here, named the Hammer, or Hammer and Hank, an American professional baseball right fielder who played 23 seasons in Major League Baseball from 1954 to 1976. He spent 21 seasons with the Milwaukee Atlanta Braves in the National League and 2 seasons in the Milwaukee Brewers in the American League. He's regarded as one of the greatest baseball players of all time. His 755 career home runs broke a long-standing MLB record set by Babe Ruth and stood for most of the 33 years. And he holds many other MLB records. He hit 24 or more home runs every year from 1955 to 1973, and he's one of only 2 players to hit 30 or more home runs in a season at least 15 times. The Sporting News ranked Aaron as the 5th on its list of 100 greatest baseball players. So, that's good to know. He was born and raised in and around Mobile, Alabama. He had 7 siblings, including Tommy Aaron, who played Major League Baseball with him. He appeared briefly in the Negro American League and minor league baseball before signing to the Major League career. His final MLB season, Aaron was the last Negro League player on a major roster. So that was a different time for sure, where we didn't have black people in the major league. It was just really I can't even understand that, but you know, it's really, it was a different time, I guess. His batting average was .305. His hits was .3771. Home runs 755. Runs batted in was 2297. He was in a league called the Indianapolis Clowns. That's really strange to think that there was a clown a clown league. I don't follow baseball, so I don't know much about it, but I just think that it's some of the names are really bizarre. I mean, the Milwaukee. What was I read it? I read it just a few seconds ago. It was Milwaukee. No, it wasn't it. Well, it was. I don't know. But anyway, we say goodbye to him. Actually, I didn't realize he was still alive. I thought, you know, someone. I thought for some reason he was dead already, but then again, like I said, I don't follow the sport, so I'm sure that our buddy Nietzsche knows a lot more about him than I do because he follows the sport. So, I mean, he's a legend. He's truly a legend, and that's about the best I can do about it because I don't follow baseball. But he's a household name. He's like the Hulk Hogan of baseball, I guess, because you know everybody knows his name and everybody can respect what he's accomplished in this business. So that's a good thing. All right, next Sorry, I dropped something. All right. Then we have. This is the strangest. Well, probably the strangest one of them all. Larry King died, and Larry King has been around forever too. He's 87, and one of the things he said was, to keep me on, nothing can keep Larry King off TV. They're going to have to carry me out, is what he would say. Well, I guess they did. They carried him out. According to the New York Post, they're going to have to carry him out. He's a person that's been on TV for as long as I can remember in different aspects, and truly, was a controversial guy at times, and just always seemed to. I mean, I think he had 7 wives or something like that. Where did I have that? I think I had something about that. Yes, Larry King's Magnificent 7, his ex-wives. So he did have 7 ex-wives. So the guy got around. I guess in 87 years, that's one wife every 10 years. So, but I can't imagine the amount of alimony that guy was probably paying, because he definitely had, and most of his wives looked like they were a bit younger than him too. So, I don't know. Cincinnati, you're on the air. Cracks me up. And he truly interviewed everybody. I mean, that's the one thing about him. He truly interviewed a lot of people. Let's see what we got on him. Oh, hit the wrong button. Let's see. Hit Larry King. Here we go. Open that door. There we go. Larry King was Lawrence Harvey Ziegler. That I didn't know. It says here, was a radio interviewer in Miami in the 1950s and 60s, and gained prominence in 1978 as the host of The Larry King Show, an all-night national call-in radio program heard in Mutual Broadcasting System. So from 1985 to 2010, he hosted a nightly interview program called The Larry King Live on CNN. That's where I knew him from. And from 2012 to 2020, he hosted The Larry King Show, which was airing on Hulu, Orca TV, and RT America. He continued to host Politicking with Larry King, a political talk show, which aired weekly on the same 2 channels from 2013 to 2020. He also made appearances on numerous television series and films, which he occasionally played himself. Or usually played himself. So, interesting enough, he was born in Brooklyn, and he was one of 2 children. It says here, a garment worker who was born, he was one of 2 children of Jenny Glitz, a garment worker who was born in Minsk or Vilnius, Russian Empire, and Aaron Ziegler, a restaurant owner and defense plant worker who was born in Austria-Hungary or Pinsk, Russian Empire. His parents were Orthodox Jews who migrated to the United States from Belarus in 1930s. He attended Lafayette High School in Brooklyn. His father died of a heart attack when King was 9 years old. This resulted in King, his mother, and brother going on government welfare. King was greatly affected by his father's death and subsequently lost interest in his schoolwork, which really is interesting because he seemed like a well-versed person in everything he did. So here's a mugshot from 1971 in Miami. Charges were ultimately dropped. Doesn't say what it was about. Yeah, truly, he did, following a 1987 heart attack, King funded the Larry King Cardiac Foundation, a nonprofit organization which paid for life-saving cardiac procedures for people who otherwise would not be able to afford them. On August 30th, 2010, he served as host of Chabad's 30th annual To Life telethon in Los Angeles. He donated to the Beverly Hills 9/11 Memorial Garden, and his name is on the monument. So, wow, he was on a lot of he was in a lot of films. He was in Ghostbusters, Lost in America, Eddie and the Cruisers, Crazy People, Exorcist 3, Dave, Open Season, Contact, The Jackal, Primary Colors, Bullworth, Enemy of the State, The Contender, The King, The Kid, John Q, Stepford Wives, Shrek, Shrek the Third, B-Movie, Swing Vote, Shrek Forever After, The Power of Few, and Chloe and Theo. That's the movies he was in. And he was in a lot of TV shows too, by the looks of things. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. Even the Simpsons. He was even in The Simpsons. So that's very interesting. I guess the guy really, people must have really liked him to put him in all those things. And I know he was a controversial guy, but he seemed to keep things moving. So that is the end of the deaths here. So let's see here. Let me make sure. Yep. What am I doing here? Won't let me do it. Alright, there we go. Alright. Let's see, then we go to entertainment. It says it's recording in YouTube. So that really confuses me on why I'm not seeing it. Let's see if I see it some other way. See if I can see it through videos. See if it shows it on there. Because it hasn't recorded. Nope, see, it's not. It doesn't seem to. Wait, there's the live shows. I don't know. It seemed to have recorded once for 6 seconds, and it doesn't. I wonder if it changes, if the new system changes the key every time I need it. I don't know. I can't figure that out. They keep changing the stuff around, and then it makes it hard to do what you're supposed to do, and then, just kind of is a pain in the butt. But anyway, the other areas seem to be working, so at least I can say that we've I got to figure out how I'm going to continue some of these services, because like I said, Periscope goes away. That's a channel that I have open, and I'm going to have to look to see what other services are out there. Alright, now let's see. I'd like to know where I am recording to, though, because it shows that it's recording to YouTube, but there's no recording that I can find. Maybe it doesn't show till after it's recorded. I don't know. I wonder if that's it. I can go to my channel. Let's see if it shows up there. Nope. Nope, it does not show. I would think it would show on live or something, but I'll figure it out. Alright. Alright, where are we at here? It's cold down here today. Alright, we got a lot of stuff that I found interesting. If you're a big Kit fan, and as in David Hasselhoff's Kit, you have a chance to buy a kit. Here it is, the Knight Rider kit. You can buy that personal car. Oh, it's sold. Oh, that's a shame. I didn't want to see it sold. But it's sold here. That's not going to let me in because I'm not a member. Well, that kind of sucks. I want to see what it's sold for. Oh, that sucks. Okay, I guess I gotta actually tell them something. Let's see. At Comcast. Oh, come on. Won't do it. There we are. There we go. Alright. Now tell me what that car's sold for. What? We don't want to do that. Oh man. Pain in my butt. See if it lets me get in there now. Alright. Oh, come on. Alright, now. Oh, come on. A lot of work for this. I just want to know how much a car sold for. What? Sold for $25? I can't believe that. Oh, that must be a poster. Wait a minute, that's not what we wanted. We wanted the car itself. Where did the car... What did the car sell for? See, they made me do all this for nothing. There we go. $300,000 for that car. That was more than they expected to get, or no, it was what they expected to get for it. I can't imagine spending that kind of money for that car. Because nothing, I mean, it's not like it's the car on the, I mean, it had all the lights and stuff. It's not like it could do all the things that you could see. That was his personal car. It was the fully functional kit car with full conversion. It was located in the UK, and your responsibility if you buy it in the US was you had to pay to get it brought back. It says if hammer price exceeds 25% above the reserve, Hoff will personally deliver the car to the new owner. Although this is David's personal kit car, this was not used in the television production. So you're not buying the kit car. You're buying the David's car. So it's probably not really worth all of that. But it's a 1989 Pontiac Firebird. It's black with a beige interior. Vehicles must be paid by wire transfer. I just think it's hilarious that somebody spent that kind of money. I mean, a couple weeks ago, when they had that auction for, I guess it was about 2 months ago, when they had the auction for Eddie Van Halen's, what was it, Lamborghini or whatever, it didn't sell. And he won at $250 for that. And that was a sports car, at least. I mean, a really sports car. But, I don't know. People will buy strange things. But it did have the lights and stuff that was from the car. I just think it's funny. I mean, I just think it's hilarious that somebody would spend that kind of money on it. But, hey, somebody did. Here's a life-size David Hasselhoff from when he was in that, what was it, Baywatch, yeah. A life-size stand-up. Autographed. And that went for $400. Man, people spend a lot of money on that stuff. I mean, I should know that. I mean, I'm too cheap to buy that kind of stuff. But I think it's funny. It says here, 41 bidders were watching. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is. I mean, here's an autographed, or here's a shirtless picture of him, and it went for $400. Yeah, that's a lot of money for that stuff. But Hasselhoff, I think he'll live forever. That guy's. Wait, here's a 2010 Knight Rider festival thank you plaque. I guess they thanked him for something for coming to the festival. And what'd he do? He sold it for $500. Don't give David Hasselhoff anything, because he's going to sell it. You can tell right now he sells everything. Okay, anyway. After all, he's my foe in my TV show that I wrote. So, I just think it's funny. All right, next. This should be pretty interesting. Now, I like John Cena. I don't tell anybody that because I don't want anybody to know that. But we all know he's pretty good at improv and stuff like that, especially since he's been in wrestling. He's actually rumored to be coming back to WrestleMania, but he's part of Suicide Squad. He's a bad guy, and it's interesting because he improv'd a bunch of his stuff in this. Says John Kinnaman, who plays Rick Flag in James Gunn's upcoming Suicide Squad, has some things to say about John Cena's improv skills. And anybody that's watched him in wrestling knows that he improv'd a bunch of his promos and stuff. And so I'm not really surprised that he did a lot of improv on TV. And I've actually liked everything I've seen him in for movies and stuff. And I've found him very entertaining. So, filmmaker James Gunn's upcoming sequel, reboot, The Suicide Squad, will have similar faces and a whole lot of new ones. Chief among the newcomers is John Cena in the role of the Peacemaker. Wrestler-turned-actor had previously described his character as a douchey Captain America. That is a very good description of what I think it looks like, too. I mean, he has a douchey-looking outfit, for sure. And says a douchey-looking Captain America Joel Kinnaman, who will be the returning character of Rick Flag, revealed in a recent interview. I think we're all kind of blown away by John Cena on that movie. From the day he started improvising, he went on these comedic rants. It was 98% unusable because it was so sexual, perverted, and wrong, and so bizarre things that came out of that sick man's brain. It looks like he was born out of an American flag. He's so ridiculously American. He's a brilliant comedian. I tried to learn from him, but that's impossible because the things that came out of his face came out of his perverted brain. So I think it'll be a good movie. I'm really looking forward to the new Suicide Squad when it comes out. So hopefully it'll be as good as I think it will. And I don't know why it wouldn't be, because I think he's a good guy to play that role. So then we got, in that same vein of stuff, why am I not able? There we go. James Gunn talks about Suicide Squad in another post. And we found out that the Suicide Squad star Joel Kinnaman describes James Gunn's DC movie as heavily R-rated, and absolutely silly, yet not without moments of real emotion. So, who knows? Suicide Squad star Joel Kinnaman describes James Gunn DC movie as, the DC series of stuff hasn't really lit the screen on fire as much as Marvel does. I'd really like to see that happen. I'd like to see it turn out to be a big seller. But with this stupid pandemic, probably not going to happen. But who knows? It says the Suicide Squad is shaping up as one of the most anticipated DC projects thanks to Gunn's involvement and the early buzz of the stars from the film. Says Gunn has repeatedly hinted the Suicide Squad will be both bloody and profane, so it's a PG-13, but it may not stay as a PG-13 depending, where it goes. So this is going to be kind of strange. We've had series about everything. I've seen series about bars, series about retail stores, series about nothing, if you like Seinfeld. But now they're going to have a series about the auto industry. it's kind of strange because I kind of want to think it's going to be good, but you never know. I'm not exactly, here's what it says, I'm not exactly sure why cars have become a prime target for network sitcoms, but along with the new NASCAR show with Kevin James on Netflix, NBC's bringing out a new sitcom about the automotive industry called American Auto. The show follows a fictional Detroit-based company called Payne Motors, which will probably be a running joke on the whole thing. Thankfully, it sounds like there's some talent, and the single-camera comedy is coming from Justin Spitzer, the writer and producer of Superstore, which is what I was talking about retail sales. So that could be interesting. I think I would probably watch a show like that. It says if you need faith in the comic abilities, Spitzer's has worked with The Office as well, and Scrubs and Mulaney. Now, see, I like Scrubs, and I haven't seen The Office, and I've never seen Mulaney. But if he's done stuff like this, I'd probably be in on it. Following the executives of Payne Motors, it looks like the star here will be Saturday Night Live alum Anna Gasteyer. I always liked her as the CEO of Payne, and you can expect to see John Barinholtz, Harriet Dyer, Humphrey Kerr, Michael B. Washington, Ty White, and ex-Mayo in the cast. I would probably watch that. I think it could be interesting, and you know, if it's about the auto industry, it would be interesting if they tackle things like like EVs and stuff like that, or if they what they do, because it's hard enough to be an independent automaker these days, and be interesting to see where they take it. So I don't know, I'm in. I could use a new comedy, so we'll see where it goes. I could use any comedy. I like comedies. All right, this is really, really interesting for most people that like football. I'm not a football fan. However, I am a Tom Brady fan, and I've always been a Tom Brady fan because he, played for New England, and that was my sales territory for 13 years. And you got to think that the people at the Patriots are kicking themselves because they didn't keep Tom Brady, and he got picked up by the Buccaneers. Who would have thought that the Buccaneers would be in the playoffs? Well, guess what? The Buccaneers are in the playoffs. They're in the Super Bowl. That is really awesome, and I know that people are going to hate me for saying that, but I really am a Tom Brady fan, and I'm not really a football fan. So, yeah, you can hate, you can be a hater, but I think it's really awesome. Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, they aren't going anywhere. The dynamic duo is headed for another Super Bowl. Brady's 10th Super Bowl and Gronkowski's 6th, after the Buccaneers beat the Packers 31-26 at Lambeau Field Sunday to reach Super Bowl 2021. And after the game, the two recreated some internet buzz by recreating a viral video Brady posted 2 years ago when the Patriots won the AFC Championship game. The video shows Brady and Gronk apparently walking down a runway, and Gronk flashes his NFC Championship shirt. Then the video flashes to highlights of the game to the tune of Bad Boy for Life by P. Diddy. So, I just think it's awesome. Just when you think he's done, he comes back and he does his thing. So, I just think it's funny. Hey, some people are born to be legends, and like him or don't like him, you really have to respect him because he's done it again. And speaking of Super Bowl, who is going to play the Super Bowl halftime show? Who's the big one? Super Bowl is almost here and means a halftime show is right around the corner. This year, Canadian artist Weekend will set foot on the world's largest stage, perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, And The Weeknd, whose real name is Abel Tesfaye, has won 3 Grammys, 5 American Music Awards, and 9 Billboard Music Awards. This comes 1 year after we watched Jennifer Lopez and Shakira headline the 2020 Super Bowl halftime show in Miami, featuring guests Bad Bunny and J Balvin. So, oh, that's that guy. Oh, I know who he is. Okay, I've seen him before. Okay, all right, now I know who he is. He was on Saturday Night Live one time and I just happened to notice it. And I kind of liked him. He was all right. Now I understand who he is. Super Bowl will be taking place February 7th between Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. So, there you go. He won again. Oh, man. Gotta love the guy. I mean, even if you hate him, you gotta love the guy. You gotta respect the guy because he pulled off another one. And if he wins, boy, if he wins the Super Bowl again, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be really unhappy. Which I think is funny. Anyway. Alright, that's that. Alright. Kanye West returns to LA after he split with Kim Kardashian. I don't know who did what to whom, but I didn't know if I'd ever see that. I mean, I've always thought that Kanye was a pain in the ass. And I always wondered what Kim liked about him, but I mean, there has to be something. But boy, oh boy, I really, I'm kind of surprised. Now, I don't keep up with the Kardashians, so I didn't know any of this was going on, but I really think it's interesting. We're headed towards a divorce after 7 years of marriage. I really thought that they were going to be together for a long time, because I figured if she was together with him for this long, they would work it out. I didn't know there was any problems, but 43-year-old rapper was photographed arriving Sunday by private jet at Van Nuys Airport in Los Angeles from his ranch in Cody, Wyoming, where he's been held up. It says hold up. So, yeah, really strange. But, hey, everything, I wonder if she's going to have to get a job. No, I guess not. I guess she's not going to. Actually, she's, I was kind of impressed. David Letterman interviewed her. And I got to tell you that was the first time I actually paid attention to what she had to say. And she seemed like a pretty intelligent person. And so I actually was impressed by her. I really found that she seemed like a real cool person. So I have to tell you that my opinion of her was changed from that day of that interview with Letterman. And I think that she's actually pretty cool. Which leads me to say that I also once again question why she was with him. He seems, there's times that I think that Kanye does some interesting things that try to be a good person, and there's other times I think he's just trying to be an idiot for publicity, maybe. So, if indeed he is that person, that's the way it is. It's just interesting that she liked him. Anyway, all right, Biden ends military's transgender ban. If there was anything that really upset me about Trump, it was that Trump had talked all good about wanting to help the transgender people and the LGBTQ or whatever it is. How he wanted to help them because they're discriminated against. And then he went and turned on them, turned his back on them once he got in office, and put that ban. I thought, well, that's kind of odd. So why do you say that you're pro transgender, and then you put the ban on there, and don't ask, don't tell kind of thing? And I kind of was upset that he had done that. So thumbs up to Biden for reversing that and setting it right. So, I mean, whoever wants to help take care of this country, I'm all for it. Doesn't matter who they are. If they're going to do good for the country, that's what we should be talking about. We shouldn't be talking about banning people because of any of their habits that are not harmful to other people. So, anyway. Yeah, okay. So, one of the biggest things that I found in the entertainment world that is going to happen is WWE has signed an agreement with the Peacock Network. And what the Peacock Network is going to get out of all this is all the pay-per-views. They're going to get all the content that was on the WWE Network. And they're going to, therefore, get all of the followers of the WWE Network. And it's funny because earlier this year they were afraid that they weren't going to be able to continue their deal with USA Network, which is part of NBC. But according to this, WWE and NBCU reached a multi-year agreement giving Peacock exclusive streaming rights to the WWE Network for American viewers. The over-the-top wrestling entertainment service existing U.S. subscribers are 1.1 million in total, and they'll be migrated over to the Peacock Premium, where they'll continue to gain access to the WWE Network, but will pay 50% less per month while getting full access to the version of the Peacock Premium tier ads. Peacock will launch WWE Network on March 18th, when Peacock will begin the rollout of more than 17,000 hours of WWE Network new, original, and library programming, both on demand and the 24-hour channel. The NBCU streamer will have all live WWE live events for no additional charge, including WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and Fastlane, with the first event to stream on Peacock Sunday, March 21st. The fans who would prefer to order events via traditional pay-per-view event will still have that option. And WWE Network will be available on Peacock Premium, which includes ads, for $4.99 a month, half the price of WWE Network current $9.99 a month. No commercial version of the Peacock Plus plan, which costs $9.99 a month, will include the WWE Network. So I'll probably go with the full $9.99 thing because I hate commercials. But the company plans to share details on how existing WWE Network subscribers in the U.S. will be switched to Peacock, whether they will be automatically subscribed to Peacock in the next few weeks. Nothing will change for the WWE Network and subscribers outside the U.S. Financial terms of the Peacock WWE Network were not disclosed. According to the sources, it's a 5-year deal worth more than $1 billion over that time. That's just... They're geniuses. I mean, they're just absolute geniuses to have done this, because that's a lot of work off their plate. They don't have to maintain that app or any of the programming. They just got to give the stuff to them, I would imagine. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's definitely shows that once again Vince McMahon is forward thinking and staying ahead of the curve. So they were worried about where their home was going to be in the next couple of years. Well, now they got that answer. So for the next 5 years, they're going to definitely have a home, and they're going to definitely be able to work on programming and stuff like that instead of worrying about where they're whether or not their website's being taken care of and all that other stuff. They're going to basically have a nice piece of the pie taken care of them, and $1 billion guaranteed. So I would imagine, because you think the majority of the money that they make, besides the events, is marketing of their own wrestlers. So the action figures and all that other stuff. They're not going to have to worry about that. They're not going to have to worry about. They can say, okay, well now we'll develop new people, and they'll develop new action figures, develop new games, and all that other stuff. And that's just one less thing they have to worry about. So I think that's a pretty good idea. And especially, like, if you think about it, if this had happened right before the pandemic, that would have been, guaranteed income, so to speak. So it says here, in the third quarter of 2020, WWE Networks had average paid customers of 1.6 million, down about 60,000 from the prior quarter, but an increase of 6% over the year, marking the service's first annual growth since quarter one of 2019. I think it's definitely a good thing, because this means we can get to see NXT UK, WWE's 205 Live, as well as replays of Raw and SmackDown. And the WWE Network archives include every WWE, WCW, ECW pay-per-view in history, and documentaries about WWE 24, WWE Untold. I'm assuming they're going to just give them a whole channel of their own, just much like it was the web only, but it's not going to be web only now. So I think it's a pretty good idea. It says here, Peacock, which NBCU launched nationwide in July 2020, attracted nearly 22 million user sign-ups in the first 6 months. That's just amazing. That's just unbelievable. I think it'll be a good thing. I think that definitely it's going to benefit the fans. It's going to benefit the NBCU. It's going to benefit WWE. What more could you ask for? It's going to benefit everybody. Everybody wins in that situation. So, yeah, more power to them. I think it's awesome. And just means maybe that we'll get more quality material, not just garbage. So, anyway. All right, next thing. I found this interesting. It says, the world's billionaires. So let's talk about the 10 richest men in, as far as right now, as of today. The 10 richest men are listed as Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bernard Arnault and family, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, Warren Buffett, Zhong Shanshan, Larry Page, and Mukesh Ambani. Now, that's all nice. Well, let's see here if that says the same thing. Okay, so here is basically the numbers. Jeff Bezos, $192.3 billion. Elon Musk, $182.9 billion. That's no longer the case, by the way. If you, I think if we looked at, because of the, here we go, Elon Musk net worth. Let's see what it says. Well, it says $185 billion. Okay. He hasn't, it says I've read other places that says he's number one now, and Jeff Bezos is number two. But regardless, I don't know who the Bernard Arnault family is, but it seems most of these names we all know, just from things that have that he's gone through in the past, just recent times. I want to see who they are. Who are they? It's a celebrity net worth. What do we got here? Oh, they're an Indian. Okay, they must not be American. Okay. Looks like luxury king Bernard Arnault becomes the world's second richest person. Well, that's not true anymore. With a net worth of 137 billion after a surge in LVMH share price. I want to know what they sell. What is he? Who is he? Yeah, that's who he is. Okay. He's an art collector. He's a French billionaire. And, okay, he owns Louis Vuitton. That makes sense. Okay. So now I know who he is anyway. Chairman and Chief Executive LVMH, Moet Hennessy. So, when it says he's 150 million. So he's not number 2, he's number 3. Bill Gates, we know who he is. That's just Microsoft. Zuckerberg, we know who he is. That's Facebook. But anyway, what was my point? My point was... What was my point? I'm trying to think now. I don't remember what the reason was I was saying that. The point was that I believe that Elon Musk is, well, it says 10 billion less, but I think he's going to be, if he isn't already, he is going to be the world's richest person, and he's in a contest I'll talk about later between him and Bezos on who has the biggest pissing contest. So I'll get to that in a little while. Dustin Diamond, Saved by the Bell star, is apparently has his good and bad days as his cancer spreads. I feel bad for him in a lot of ways, and I don't feel bad for him in a lot of ways. He was supposed to be on this show probably 12 years ago, and I couldn't get it to happen. And so he was kind of doing, I'm pretty sure he was doing the celebrity boxing thing. So, but anyway, it says here he has stage 4 small cell carcinoma, and I'll tell you, my brother went through some nasty stuff with the whole cancer thing, and I wish this guy well. It just, I really feel bad that he has to go through that. He was born in 77. That means, oh wow, he's younger than I thought he was. Huh. Let's pull his Wikipedia up. See how old he is. Actually, he looks better than he did as a kid. He's 44. That's really a shame that he's going through this stuff. I'm looking here to see if it said anything about celebrity boxing. Celebrity Big Brother, celebrity... I don't see any celebrity boxing on here. I think he did celebrity boxing though. Oh, it says he's a musician too. Also a musician. Huh. Salty Pocket Knife is the name of his band. So... yeah, I feel bad for him, but, I mean, you just can't tell when it's coming. And we all try to just hang in there and get through the stuff the best I can. All right, let me see here. Oh, I hit that wrong. Hit that again. He's not one of the 10 wealthiest people. Okay, that's Dustin Diamond there. Okay. AMC says that bankruptcy's off the table right now. It just raised some new cash. It put out some new stock. And I always went to the AMC theaters because I always liked them. But I didn't mind Regal. Regal actually is a little bit closer to me than AMC, but AMC, the way they did the rewards and stuff on your, because I always paid for my movies, I liked the AMC a little bit better. And plus I could get in and out quicker, and it was just convenient. But since COVID, it talked about them going out of business in 6 months. A couple times they said they weren't going to make it through the year, and fortunately they made it through the year, and they raised some new capital. I don't know that if it's just patching the sinking boat or if they're actually going to make it, but they're going to try to make it. They have raised an additional funds, $917 million in fresh capital since December, so it could sustain itself. So almost $1 billion in fresh capital by selling other stock. So I'm really glad they're still going to be around. I hope that, with the coronavirus vaccination and all that stuff, that we're going to see more people get that shot, and then hopefully it'll end the whole thing in a short period of time, because I think everybody's tired of this. Actually, it said it says it disclosed raising $917 million, and it says the company has raised $506 million in equity by issuing 164.7 million new shares, and also executed a commitment of letters for $411 million in debt by refinancing a European revolving credit facility. So the new cash raised through a combination of debt and equity would extend its financial runway deep into 2021. The company said, and I'll tell you, I used to go there religiously because of the rewards card. Between that and you got a discount at your movies, you got a discount on concessions and all that stuff. I was spending a lot of money with that company, and then boom, I stopped going, and along with many other people. So I really do hope that it, can survive, and I hope to start going back to theaters again, because I miss going to theaters. I miss the big sound, and it's just sad that we're not able to enjoy the movies like we used to. But hopefully it'll definitely come together, and then we'll be back and doing what doing what I like to do. Chris Hemsworth is in the news again. He is going to be the next Hulk Hogan, at least in the theater. So, it says here, it actually, he's going to actually make a pretty good Hogan. I saw a picture of him as Hogan, but he's talking about his physical transformation is going to have to really change for him to be the Hogan that we know. So it'll be interesting to see him as Hogan, because it will. The things about him that are good about it is that he has a good look. He actually probably looks better than Hogan does, as far as good looking. But his body, he's got to do a lot to make that body come out like Hogan's. I wonder if I can get. Where do I see that picture of him as Hogan? Really looked good. It really, really, really looked good. So I think it'll definitely be interesting to see how it all works out. But man, think about how much he's got to make his body get bigger and bigger. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's Hogan. Here's him as Hogan. So that doesn't look too bad. Kind of interesting. It says here there are very few sports entertainers that transcend into Hollywood and become multifaceted stars. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is arguably the most well-known to do it, being one of the most successful people in Tinseltown to date. But before him, there was one wrestler who was a true American icon, taking not only the squared circle but the silver screen, the immortal Hulk Hogan. The Hulkster was an international superstar, larger than life. I'll tell you that it'll be interesting to see how he looks, how Chris will look But he definitely was saying in this other article that he's got to do some major changes to his body. Now, his body was pretty good before, so I can't imagine him having the arms of Hogan. But I would imagine he wants to look as close as he can to that bodybuilder thing. It'll be interesting. I think for sure it will be interesting. It says the transformation for the Hulk Hogan biopic, going through insane physical transformation. So the movie's going to be a really fun project. As you can imagine, the preparation for the role will be insanely physical. I have put on more size than I've ever before, even more than I put on for Thor. There is the accent as well as the physical and physicality and the attitude. I will be doing a deep dive into the rabbit hole of wrestling world, which I'm looking forward to doing. It says Hemsworth has been synonymous with large cinematic and comedic roles. The challenge of playing Hogan will be unique for the Australian actor. Considering his remarkable screen presence, I think Hemsworth has the chops to portray Hogan on the screen. It will be fascinating to see how the actor taps into the wild energy. I'm looking forward to it. I think it would be awesome to see this. And it's really interesting that a big pick like this is going to actually show up as a wrestling show. And I'm curious how honest they're going to be about it as well. Because, the wrestling business is not always the most honest out there. This was interesting. Ryan Reynolds made an appearance on Sesame Street, and they had him be an A. Kind of funny, but then he had a problem with the costume because the A hole didn't seem to fit right. And so just keep in mind, this is Sesame Street, not just any role. And so they showed pictures of it, and I was trying to figure out what in the world that was, what it was about. Ryan Reynolds could even make a Sesame Street appearance feel dirty. On Sunday, the Deadpool actor recalled his time on the PBS program after a parent tweeted about watching him doing an A-Team gag. The parent included a screenshot of Reynolds' big letter A costume, which had a cutout for his face. Reynolds responded with the right amount of cheekiness. I remember how challenging it was to sing because the A-hole was so tight, he replied. But I pushed through because all the kids were counting on me. And then you see a picture of him in his A costume. So I guess he was actually an A-hole. And Zach Braff tweeted back saying, "You had me at A-hole, it was so tight." So I don't know. I think it's funny. And if he's the only guy I could imagine that would have been okay doing that. I mean, as far as saying that. So, yeah, it's interesting. So, yeah, definitely good sense of humor. I think if I had a chance to meet someone in Hollywood, it would be The Rock first, but I think possibly Ryan Reynolds would be up there in the top 5, maybe number 2. So I like him from the Deadpool stuff, but I mean, who didn't? Upcoming movie sequels that you didn't even know were in the works. Yes, there's 4 Avatar sequels. Can you imagine 4? They never did one Avatar sequel. Why would they wait 30 years or whatever it is to do an Avatar sequel? But that's one of the sequels that we're going to 4 of the sequels that we're going to see. Gladiator 2. Again, this is a long time. Gladiator was out at least 20 years ago. Why would we have to go revisit that? I don't really think there's a reason to make an Avatar sequel. Legally Blonde 3. Again, why? It's been at least 20 years since that was out. I think that we're over it. I don't see a reason for that. The Passion of the Christ, Resurrection. I just don't really understand why. Apparently Mel Gibson would like it. And last time I saw Mel Gibson, which was recent, he was in the movie Fatso. I think it was Fatso. Fat Man. And he played Santa Claus. And I didn't even realize it was him right away, because he was heavier and he was much, much older than the last time I saw him. Why would they want to do another Passion of the Christ? I don't know. Kill Bill 3. Again, I can't imagine that being that big of a hit, because Kill Bill 1 and 2, or whatever it was, I don't know if it was, I think it was 2. Kill Bill 2. Tarantino, I just don't understand it, because that was again, it's a movie that, you see, the reason I am saying this, like, if you want to have a sequel, look at Fast and Furious, okay? At least they did them every couple years, and you're already ready to see it because you saw the first one, and it was a lot of speed and action, and it was interesting. But Kill Bill, nobody's seen that for freaking 30 years or 20 years or whatever it was. That's just ridiculous. Labyrinth 2. David Bowie's dead. There's no reason to make another Labyrinth. I don't know. But sequel to Jim Henson's final film, Labyrinth 2. Now, Jim Henson's been dead for what, 10 years? 20? No, probably 20 years. Edge of Tomorrow 2. Okay. I would see that, because I like that movie, but still, again, well, at least that's only been within 5 years. That's been out, I think, I would say 4 or 5 years. Okay, I could see making that, just because at least it's somewhat current. But I don't know, I think that the first one kind of did what it had to do. Sherlock Holmes 3. At least that's within the past 5 years too. I don't really see a need for that, but okay, if Robert Downey Jr. wants to make another one, he could. I mean, the first one was good. I'm trying to remember I don't remember if I saw the second one. But, we'll see. Den of Thieves 2. There's always action movies like that. And it was a flop with the critics, so why would you do it again? I thought the movie was actually pretty good, but I don't know, apparently nobody else did. But apparently somebody still wants to make another one. I didn't know if I did this yet. Okay, so, alright. But Den of Thieves was okay, and you couldn't trust anyone, and I like that you can't trust anyone. Call Me By Your Name 2. I don't think I saw that, the first one. I don't even know when it was. Let's see here. Armie Hammer was one of the... Geez, that has to be old. I'm thinking that's probably another 30-year-old movie, because Armie Hammer's got to be... let's see if it says anything. Doesn't say. I mean, if it's following those two as an adult, I don't know. I don't know what the first one was, because I don't remember seeing it. The Hitman's Bodyguard, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. I would go see that. I liked the first one. It was pretty funny. And so I would go see that. RoboCop Returns. Weren't there 2 RoboCops in the 80s? I think there was. Maybe. Says here that, let's see here, the RoboCop was directed by, it was 1987, and 2 sequels starring original actor Peter Weller were rebooted in 2014. Really? I don't remember that. Alright. I just can't imagine them putting another RoboCop out. I mean, maybe for today's kids, But why make it RoboCop? Why not just make a new movie altogether? Big Trouble in Little China. I love that movie. The original movie was awesome. But that's 1986. I can't imagine that them doing this movie in 2022. I don't think it'll hold up. Technologies change. I just think that that's just a waste of money. What We Do in the Shadows, We're Wolves. I don't remember seeing the first one. Well, we already won attention with movies like Boy and Eagle versus Shark. I don't know why I don't know that movie. But I don't know that movie either. So I don't know if that would be worthy of it. It says in 2016, said there would be a sequel. I don't know. The Meg 2. Okay, again, Jason Statham doesn't really need that much money, does he? I mean, this guy, the Meg 1 was okay. It was barely passable. And it says it drew $528 million against a $130 million budget. At least that one was in the past 3 or 4 years, so I don't know. I just don't see the point of some of these. Django Unchained 2, okay. I would go see that. I thought the first one was pretty good and pretty strange, but that's going to be a limited audience, I think, because I think that I thought everybody died in that movie, just about. I'm going to have to think about that one. Disenchanted, Enchanted 2. I don't know anything about that movie. It's 2007. Disney makes money doing whatever they want to do. So maybe they could actually do it again. I don't know. Expendables 4. I thought that was done, but if they're going to do it again, I guess they can do it now that Arnold's no longer a governor. I would go see that just because I like Stallone and I like a lot of people in the cast. So I guess I would go see that, as much as I feel stupid going to see it. 24 Jump Street. I would probably go see that too, but I mean, at least those movies aren't 20, 30 years old. But I would probably go see that because of Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, and the first one was pretty good. So it would be worth going to see it again, I guess, seeing another one. Baby Driver 2. It was an okay movie, but it wasn't... See, these are the kind of movies that I don't understand why they're doing a part 2 on, because they're not anything... Like, Expendables was a big action film that just kept going, and it kept things... even though it wasn't a great movie, it was action, it was interesting. And it had big names. Baby Driver didn't have a big name. You know, it had, what's his name? I'm trying to see if they said his name in here. You know, it was okay. It was alright. It just wasn't great. And then same with Crazy Asians 2 and 3. The movie was okay. I just don't... I mean, if it was a television made-for-TV movie, it would be okay, I guess. But I think that that's just really not good. Star Trek 4, I would go see it. Doesn't matter if it had anything in it. Just the fact that it's a Star Trek movie would make me go see it. And so, I don't know why it took them so long. I mean, 2009, geez. And they're not going to have Chekhov anymore because he died. So, I don't know. I would go see that because I think I always wanted to keep it going. But what are you doing, buddy? Oh, you found your ball. Found one of your squeaky. Beverly Hills Cop 4. Again, it's been, since the 90s. What are you doing? Besides wrecking the place. What are you doing, buddy? I think the train's left the station on Beverly Hills Cop, because Eddie Murphy's much older, and what are you doing? I don't have anything for you. You're messing up my lighting. So, anyway, go on. Good, you didn't take your ball. That's important. Paranormal Activity 7. I would probably watch that because I've watched a lot of Jason Blum's stuff, and I think that those movies are different enough that they're interesting. So I would watch that. Scream, again. Scream is just, the original release was 96. The brainchild was Wesley Craven, who passed away in 2015. The film has spawned 3 sequels. The most recent was 2011. I guess it'll probably sell because it's a horror movie, and it'll probably sell depending when they end up releasing it, especially if they use it for, somewhere around Halloween. Hotel Transylvania 4. Okay, I'll probably go to see that just because I like the Hotel Transylvania stuff, even though it's an Adam Sandler type thing. I've liked all of them so far. Sing 2. I saw Sing 1. I thought it was good. 2016, so we're talking 5 years, okay? Maybe it'd be good. I would imagine it would be good. Tomb Raider 2. After 2 Tomb Raider films, Angelina Jolie in 2001, 2003. Franchise was rebooted in 2018. I would say I would probably go see that. The Baby Boss 2. That would be okay. Addams Family 2. I would probably go see that. Aladdin 2. I don't know if I'd go see that or not. The Book Club 2. I didn't see Book 1. Clerks 3. I would probably go see that because it's Kevin Smith, and I'm a big fan. Mallrats. I would go see Kevin Smith, so chances are I would see that. The Conjuring. I would go see that because I like all the Conjuring, even though the real Lorraine Warren just died, I believe. And it says the third film will adapt a real-life Warren case in a murder suspect argued that they couldn't possibly be convicted of the crime because they were possessed by a demon. So apparently the third film will be titled The Devil Made Me Do It. Has Fallen sequels. I saw the first one, which was Europe Has Fallen or something like that. The second one was America's, or something like that. Angel Has Fallen. It was 2019. I would do that. I would see that. That's another one that at least it's not old. At least it's 2019 was the last one. Then it was 2016 where it had London Has Fallen. Then it was 2013 where they had Olympus Has Fallen. I would go see that because it's not too long before the sequel came out. So there's no solid release date for the next Has Fallen film. Also, if they stick to the every 3 years, we can expect a fourth one in 2022. Knives Out 2. The first movie was good. I really didn't expect that movie to be very good, but it was pretty good. And I guess I would go see that. Mad Max 5 and Furioso. The Mad Max series from I saw the original Mad Max, and then 79. Was it no? It was in 70, right? Oh wait, it says which began in 1979. I saw the first Mad Max, the first 3 Mad Maxes, and I liked all of them. And then they redid it in 2015, and I liked that one too. That was with Tom Hardy. So I would say that I would go see that. It says here, the new spin on the post-apocalyptic tale, casting Tom Hardy as Max and shifting focus to Charlene Theron, is the one that they're going to look at doing. So I would definitely go see that. Creed 3, I would see that. I think the Creed series is the nice adaptation or continuation of the Rocky movies, so I would definitely see that. Rocky 7, I don't know what else he can do except die. Let's see here, it says, announcing the intention to retire the character of Rocky Balboa in 2018 Creed 2, he went on to clarify that he was specifically done playing Rocky in Creed movies. Oh, speaking of to Collider, Stallone confirmed that he was done with Creed because there's nothing more I can do, before going on to say that he had an idea for a new Rocky film that the star, writer, and director called Vital. I have a thing that it's politically, you would say, vital right now. It's right on the edge, and it deals with a foreign country. We've heard a little bit about it, and they want it badly. I would probably see that as well. But now I want to know, Creed 3, does that mean that Stallone is not going to play? Oh, wow. See, now that may make me not want to see Creed. I think Creed is important. Huh. Well, I guess I'd think that. I would probably still see Creed, because Creed was a good movie. Searching 2. I saw Searching 1. It was awesome. And it was a small independent film, so it was kind of interesting to watch it, because it didn't really have a big budget. But they're going to do something again. Searching, I would go see that. Chicken Run 2, that's, I don't know, 2018 I saw Chicken Run 1, that was probably 15 years ago, if not 20, probably 20, and I would go see that because I like animation. Bright 2, Bright sounded like it was an awesome movie, an urban buddy cop. See, I don't remember Bright. Oh yeah, Bright. No, that's not what I think of it. I'm trying to think. I must have seen that. I can't say whether or not I'd see it because I don't remember that movie. I thought I did. Wait a minute. Will Smith. Because I thought Bright was a different movie. Oh, okay. Was that it? It was Netflix. I don't have Netflix. Hunger Games prequel. Okay, I'd probably watch that because it would talk maybe about how the Hunger Games started. So that might be interesting. Lethal Weapon 5. I see no reason for that. They really finished that movie up a long time ago. I'd probably still go see it. Ronin sequel. That was 2013. I would probably go see that. My Spy 2. Okay, I would see that because I like Batista. Tron 3. See, again, here's a movie that's probably, see here, Tron, developed in 82. Tron Legacy was 2010. I would probably watch that. Kissing Booth 3. I didn't see 1 and 2, so I can't really speak to whether or not it was any good. Atomic Blonde 2, I would see that because it's an interesting Charlene Theron movie. Bad Boys 4. I really thought that they were going to do the Bad Boys, finish the Bad Boys Up last movie. In fact, I felt like they did that. But they're announcing that Bad Boys 4 is coming. I would probably see that. National Treasure 3, I would probably see that. Demolition Man 2, 1993, jeez. I would probably see that because I like Stallone. Extraction 2, I don't think I know much about that. I'm trying to think if I saw Extraction. I would probably go see that. It looks like a good movie. Hocus Pocus 2, I don't think I'd see that. Jackass 4, I would definitely see it. Because that's this crazy stuff. Now You See Me 3, I would definitely see it because I thought that was a really interesting movie because they, the bad guys ended up winning, as they should have. Part 2 was, Part 1 was released in 2013. Part 2 was probably 2016 or something. Paddington 3, I would see it. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I would probably see it. Because at least there are different stories. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I would definitely see it. The Souvenir, Part 2. Souvenir, Part 2. I don't think I saw the first one. Must have been an indie film. I'd have to watch the first one. To All the Boys, Always and Forever. I don't think I'd see that. The Social Network 2. I would probably see that because it probably follows Zuckerberg where he's at now. The Lion King 2, probably. Don't Breathe 2, probably. Resident Evil, I would probably see that. Beverly Hills Troop 2. I think Beverly Hills Troop 2 would be a problem because the kids that were in Beverly Hills Troop 1 are probably getting Social Security now. 89 sequel. Let's see, that's 30 years, 31 years, 32 years. That's just, it's just too much. Sister Act 3, I don't think I'll watch. I saw 1 and 2 and I liked them. Indiana Jones 5, why would they do that? Harrison Ford's 78. I wonder if he's passing it on to another guy. I might watch that. Lightyear, it's probably Buzz Lightyear. I don't think I might watch it, but I don't know. The War with Grandpa 2, first one was pretty good. I think I'd probably go see that. G.I. Joe 3, I probably would go see that if The Rock is in it, or what's his name? I can't think of his name. Yeah, I might go see that. Transformers 7, I'd watch that. Alright, that's it. Okay. That's a lot of movies. Yeah, kind of weird that they would remake a lot of those, or make a new one of a lot of those, because I just think they definitely are. I just think that they are definitely not necessary. So, let's see here. Am I going to get the right thing? No, I'm not going to get the right thing. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Copy this. Okay. Send it to here. That's a lot of movies that are... Many of those I don't think should be remade just because the age in which they captured the audience back then. I just don't know that they would translate into the new stuff, you know? But, hey, who knows? You never know. All right, now let's see what's next. I might do that one later. Let's see what kind of time I have left, because it's already almost 9, and I didn't get through a lot of the stuff I wanted to do so far. Okay. All right. Boy, I got a lot of stories here about... I didn't try to do a lot of the stories about the presidential stuff because I figured getting beat over the head about the presidents. But I did find some interesting things. List of presidents by age. So it seems our oldest president going in is the one that we have now. Our oldest president going into office is Joe Biden at 78 years old. And I'll tell you, a lot of these presidents, it's really interesting because when I was a kid, these guys looked old, and they weren't. I was like, well, wait a minute. Every president going in, aren't they in their 70s? No. A lot of them were in their 50s. I was really surprised because I was looking at the past, let's talk about from JFK to now. JFK was 43. Johnson was 55. Nixon was 56. See, those people that are 55 and 56, you look at their pictures, they look like they're 80. Gerald Ford was 61. Jimmy Carter was 52. I really thought that they were a lot older than that. Ronald Reagan, 69. Now he was old. H.W. Bush was 64. Okay, Bill Clinton was 46. George W. Bush was 54. Barack Obama was 47. Donald Trump was 70, and Biden was 78. That's I really am amazed that those people were really a lot younger than I really think they were. Because when you're 20 and you look at a president, you think he's got to be 60 something or he's got to be 70 something, and it wasn't. These guys are really a lot younger than I thought they were. So, George Washington was 57. Let's talk about John Adams was 61. But and that's, I guess, back then you don't live as old as you do nowadays. But a lot of these people, they were not nearly as old as I thought they were. And I didn't imagine them being in their 40s, let alone their early 50s. So Lincoln was 56. Grant was 54. I thought Grant would have been like in his late 60s. Let's see here. Let's talk about some. Theodore Roosevelt was 50. Let's look at Herbert Hoover was 58. Franklin Roosevelt was 63. Truman was 68, so he was up there. Eisenhower was 70. But they're all over the board. I really thought they were a lot older than that. So I actually felt kind of weird finding out that they weren't nearly as old as I thought they were. So that's makes you kind of weird, because that's knowing that people my age were president, and not just a few. I'm actually older than some of the presidents, and I just didn't realize that it was really that close. I kind of wanted to think that they were old, but I guess they aren't as old as I thought. So, then, this is interesting. This is a local story of mine, of where I'm at, and I found it interesting. Rental assistance program for helping residents affected by COVID. So a lot of places, we talked about this a couple months ago, a lot of people have been hurting bad for money and they couldn't afford to pay their rent. So according to this, the Harrisburg Relief Rent rent relief program is helping hundreds of people stay in their homes. It's also benefiting landlords. The city has received more than 600 applications, and they're processing the first 200. $122,000 has already been sent out for the first round. Loss of income due to COVID-19 has impacted a lot of people in Harrisburg. There's the eviction moratorium. It doesn't apply to everyone, and the rent relief program is critical. We're able to stop the eviction process, which is a blessing, and a lot of landlords have worked with us to say they're stopping the eviction process. They're giving the average amount they're giving out is between $2,000 and $5,000. The city's taking care of utilities, anywhere from $400 to $1,000, and $19,000 have been sent out for that. Landlords fill a W-9 and become a vendor of the city. Then we cut a check for back rent directly to the landlord. The moratorium can put a lot of pressure, especially on small landlords, people that have maybe 1 or 2 or maybe 5 units. If they get a couple of them that aren't paying, they can have a cascading effect. Yeah, I mean, everyone loses in that situation. So it's good that they have done that, but there's got to be a better answer, and I don't know what it is, unfortunately, because, it's nobody's fault for this COVID thing. But this one guy here is not going to have to worry about the COVID thing, and a billion dollar, I can't even think of $1 billion. This guy won $1 billion in the freaking lottery. That's just, I can't even imagine it. Just is so much money, and yet, somebody won $1 billion. That they can join the Billionaires Club. They have $1 billion. It's just, I can't even fathom that. I'd like to have $1 billion. I don't know what I'd do with it. But one ticket was sold in Michigan for the $1 billion Mega Millions lottery, making it the 3rd largest lottery prize in U.S. history. I just can't even imagine. Friday night's drawing comes 2 days after a ticket was sold in Maryland that matched all 6 numbers and won $731 million in the Powerball. Only 2 lottery prizes in the U.S. have been larger than Friday's jackpot. 3 tickets for $1.586 billion were sold in January 2016, and 1 winning ticket for $1.537 billion Mega Millions has been sold October 2018. So that's just one lucky person. I can't imagine. I'd like to be that person, but that's not going to happen. So I just have to remain a regular person. But if you ever want to share some of that $1 billion, I'll be glad to help you. Well, it looks like Buddy's back. Oh, yeah? So, according to this article, it says, forget the Xbox X and the PS5. Why you should buy the Nintendo Switch. And, now I'm a guy that I have a PS4, but, I unfortunately don't play it enough to be worth giving any advice on this. I haven't turned it on in at least a year, and probably longer. So it probably has a ton of updates to do. Anyway, it says here, while the Nintendo Switch is not brand new anymore, buying one could be a smarter decision than trying to buy a PS5 or Xbox Series X right now. Getting the next generation PlayStation or Xbox is admittedly hard to do, but if you have the opportunity, you may want to reconsider. Spending your money on follow-up to your current console of choice seems like a no-brainer, but what do you do when you want a new console? I'd argue some of the things that about using the new console aren't actually present in the new PlayStation or Xbox. So, you buy it's saying about what I love about the Nintendo Switch. It says here, for example, take the library. The majority of games you can play on the PS5 or Series X are the same ones you can play on the PS4 or Xbox One. Furthermore, a handful of platform exclusives may not be that inspiring to you over the Switch. There are 3 more options to look at. The variety of games available to credit is a credit to Nintendo. Naturally, your thoughts might gravitate towards Mario, Animal Crossing, Super Smash Bros., Legend of Zelda, and like. These high-quality franchises are good reasons to buy a Nintendo console. However, you'll find a surprising number of third-party games on the Switch, which include Doom, The Witcher 3, as well as the best indie game libraries outside of the PC. All the next-gen exclusives of PS5 and Xbox X are firmly budgeted, big-budgeted affairs. Many of them are either remakes or sequels. And it says in terms of the Switch, you have some key advantages too. By all means, compare TFLOPS, T-flops. It says here, and the maximum resolution output, and laugh at the meager GPU inside the Switch, but it's nice to chase higher frame rates and prettier graphics, but don't guarantee you're going to have fun with the game. And the graphics are your priority, then you're probably better off getting a gaming PC than a console. Then there's the fact that the Switch's less powerful hardware allows it to be portable, easily a standout. I wouldn't have thought of this before I bought my own Switch, but having access to a fully equipped console anywhere is a luxury that's not overstated. It says you won't need, it says you get the versatile Joy-Cons to try out too. These controllers have built-in accelerometers, gyroscopes, while still working similarly with the traditional gamepad. You can still play games as normal, but also far less traditional motion control experiences. You won't need extra peripherals such as a VR headset. I feel the Joy-Cons are comfier to use. I don't know what that means, what the Joy-Cons are. So, what I don't love about the Nintendo Switch, it says it's irredeemably weak, though multiplayer online functionality are, to put it bluntly, a mess. Some games require Nintendo's Switch Online subscription service for online multiplayer, but others let you play over the internet for free. To activate voice chat, you need to use an app on your smartphone, a device that already does enough without having to be a gaming peripheral as well. But that doesn't bother me, since I'm a solitary gamer most of the time. In Nintendo's defense, the Switch is probably the best console for multiplayer, considering the Joy-Cons can be used as 2 separate gamepads, up to 8 Switches with 4 players, and it says here, in the same place that one second controller for your Xbox or PS5, that'll be another $70. The Switch's internal storage is both smaller and slower than what you get with the Sony and Microsoft consoles. You get 825 gigabyte of SSD space on the PS5 and 1 terabyte on the Xbox. The Switch just made 32 gigabyte of memory. However, the Switch games take up less space as a rule and lower graphical fidelity. If you run out of space, you can expand the Switch's memory easily with any micro SD. I mean, I've seen the Switch, and it does it's kind of neat, because I like the compact ability of it. I like the fact that if you want to watch TV and play with your Switch, you can do it as a handheld. That's kind of cool. But, everybody wants their game for a specific reason, and I like the fact that the Switch has all the games or a lot of the games that you would want. So, I don't know. I don't play like I said, I will say that I do play a game regularly. I still play Unkilled, which is the first game that I've actually played in years that I actually like. But, it's one of those things that if I were a true gamer, I would probably have quit that game a long time ago. So, this is interesting. Flash is dead but not gone. I don't subscribe to this site, but as people know, that Flash stopped working on our PCs recently because Adobe stopped supporting it, and it seems that there's still people that need Flash. There's a lot of games that ran off Flash. There's a lot of utilities and stuff that ran off Flash. And I'll tell you, I was really surprised that they stopped working with it, stopped making it. Because it seems to me that they had a good thing going, but there were too many vulnerabilities of it. But January 12th, computers started to malfunction on the Dalian train operation depot in northeast China. The dispatcher's browsers weren't loading the train schedule details. 6 hours later, dispatchers also lost the ability to print train data from the web app. According to the depot's account on Weibo and WeChat, a follow-up post a few days later, the system flickered on and off about 20 hours before IT staff finally stabilized it. The culprit appears to be a seismic but not unforeseen shift in the internet, the death of the Flash player. So basically they kind of force you to uninstall it, but there are places that have hacked up the Flash, and the Flash is apparently still working in some of the places. It says, after years of abuse by hackers, particularly those running malvertising ad schemes, Flash installations, whether forgotten or intentionally maintained, could expose networks for years to come. Versions of the software that haven't been updated recently don't have the kill switch inside, and Adobe isn't supporting the software anymore. There won't be any security patches for any new Flash vulnerabilities. Flash may remain in your system until you uninstall it. Adobe blocked Flash from running in Flash Player beginning June 12th, and the major browser vendors have disabled and will continue to disable the Flash Player running until the end of life date. In October, Microsoft released an optional update for Microsoft Windows 8 and above that removes the operating system's built-in version of Flash. So, if you're planning on using Flash, it's probably not a good idea. So, I haven't really used it, but, since it's not going to be supported, and somewhat concerned because I really thought the Flash was a good thing, but something we all need to know is not available to us unless you get a hacked version, because there's people out there or companies out there that have hacked it because they wanted to keep using it. So that's something you need to know. You heard it first here in the Trash Talking Radio Show. Let me make sure I've got this stuff here. Okay, I still have a lot of stuff to do yet. Okay. SpaceX launches 143 satellites in one rocket in record-setting mission. Well, I'll tell you what, when he sets his mind to it, Elon Musk makes sure things get done, and he truly wants to make sure that his SpaceX stuff is done efficiently. So a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carried 143 satellites into orbit on a jam-packed rideshare mission Sunday, setting a new mission record, a new world record for most satellites launched by a single rocket. The mission, dubbed Transporter 1, carried 10 satellites for the first Starlink internet network and more than 130 for a variety of customers, including Planet, which operates a constellation of Earth imaging satellites, and ICI, which develops small radar satellites for monitoring ice and tracking floods. The previous record was held by PSLV, an Indian rocket, which carried 104 for a 2017 launch. So, these satellites are a big part of his plan for wireless internet to be out there and be able to hit pretty much anywhere in the world. So I think it's interesting. It's interesting to see this continue to grow and continue to make him meaning Elon Musk, a very to-do person. The man has a lot of plans, and eventually he will overtake Jeff Bezos if he hasn't overtaken him yet. And actually, with today's stock, he may have overtaken him. Who knows? Today's stock was like $8.90 or something, which was awesome. I like when the stock goes higher, because that means I'm hopefully making more money. Godiva is selling off its stores in the United States, so if you're into Godiva chocolate, you might not be at the end of this time. The luxury chocolatier Godiva is getting out of the brick and mortar business. The company's selling off or closing all of its 128 brick and mortar stores in North America, and it plans to complete the closures and sales by the end of March. Godiva will keep its stores open across Middle East, Europe, and Greater China. The company will not disclose information on how many employees will be let go. Less than 2 years ago, Godiva was planning a massive expansion by getting into cafe business. The chocolatier opened its first cafe in the United States in New York City in 2019, and announced it was planning to open 10 more, and more than 400 across the United States. Well, that changed all a lot really quickly. So, yeah, if you're a fan of Godiva, you're going to have to get it the old-fashioned way. You're going to have to get it delivered to you. No, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. What's going on here? Not letting me do that. Copy. There we go. So, yeah, I know that a lot of women that I know like Godiva chocolate more than any other kind. So, got to be careful. You're not going to get your Godiva. So, it's really funny how they took a turnaround into what they felt they were going to do. Because they were going to expand, and then because of this whole pandemic, ended up not expanding, but actually closing the stores. National Guard is going to stay in D.C. through mid-March, according to CBS News. At least 5,000 National Guard troops will remain in Washington, D.C. through mid-March, according to a statement on CBS News. Troops will, from across the country, have been staying in the Capitol since January 13th, after insurgents overran the U.S. Capitol. So, yeah, it's kind of strange to think of that we would even have that kind of problem, but there were a lot of people that were not happy with the situation with Donald Trump being beaten in the election. So they're afraid that they're going to have another situation like they did before, and they don't want that. Are you getting a package that you didn't expect? It's a new scam. There's a new scam out. You know, this is a weird scam. This is probably the strangest scam I've seen in a while. So what they're doing is there are companies that, okay, first of all, you got to know that when you're talking about Amazon, buying from Amazon, you're not necessarily buying from Amazon. Amazon is consisting of a bunch of smaller businesses. It has Amazon as one of the businesses, but it has a bunch of independent. There's other businesses that sell on Amazon, so they become Amazon businesses, if you will. So like I used to sell to dealers who were selling their stuff through Amazon. So they have a store set up on Amazon. Kind of like an eBay thing, but this is all new material or usually new stuff. And you can actually be a reseller of Amazon as well. What they do is they are in the process of, like they want to get ratings, and they want to get, they want to control the ratings that they get. And what they do is they send out packages to anywhere. You probably didn't order it. It just shows up, and it might be a little widget. It might be something that you don't even know why they sent it out. It might be, and actually, it works. It's Amazon and it's eBay and it's other marketplaces like probably Etsy or a couple of those other places. What it does is people pay the companies pay people to write fake positive reviews about their products. So, like for instance, I sell something on eBay and I send it out. Someone can can say that this was the greatest product ever, or they can say that they got screwed, and my rating is affected. Well, what their companies are doing is they're going to pay someone, and what they're going to do is they're going to send a product to somebody who isn't expecting to get it, and the person's like, I didn't ask for this, and they'll call and they'll say, hey, I didn't order this, and there's no invoice on their account or anything because they didn't order it, and they're not charged for it, and they can just throw the product away and say, oh, all right, I didn't order it, I don't want it, I'll just throw it away. But in the same sense, while that's going on, they now have a tracking number. The person that sent the thing out to this person that didn't order it gives that tracking number to someone, and that person writes a positive review. And it's a fake review. They're called brushers. And they trick the site into making it appear as a legitimate transaction, and it makes it look like they bought something and liked what they got and gave them a 5-star review or whatever. And then even though that the person that gets the box might say they ordered a computer, and it may not be a computer, it may be just a pencil, it may be anything, it may be a roll of toilet paper. It doesn't matter, because they just needed something to ship that. And it doesn't matter because they didn't order anything. The person that sent the product gives the tracking number to one of these brushers. They said, oh, the computer worked great, it's a fantastic system, I couldn't be happier, whatever it is. And so that, even though that sounds all innocent and doesn't seem like anybody's getting hurt, well, then you get these guys that are scammers that have great ratings, and people want to start buying from them, and they could be scammed. So beware of that. That is happening now, and they send out stupid little random things. Sometimes a briefcase, and sometimes it's a backpack, it's a hair straightener, it's a coffee cup warmer. Those are some of the things that they bring out. And sometimes it's just a mask. This one woman got a bunch of stuff she got from Amazon, but she didn't order any of it. And one's called a fishing game, one's a 4-in-1 door alarm. So she got all this stuff that she didn't order, and she didn't pay for it. But the company that sent it out got ratings from a brusher who said that, oh, this is the best widget I ever saw, and they ended up making their ratings better. So anyway, it's like when Pam and I used to do eBay. We used to sell, and sometimes we would put a starting bid of lower than we wanted it to be, and we would keep an eye on it, and if it didn't sell, we would or somebody bought it at at a lower price than we want it, I would go on and I'd raise the price on her item, or she'd come on and raise the price of my item. That's what happens when you start the bidding at 0 or whatever, instead of starting the bid a little higher. So yeah. Hey Amy Sue, how you doing? So anyway, that's how that works. Here is a really cool thing. I started reading, I started watching this show called Comic Book Man, and it talks about these comic books that I would have never guessed was worth money. Some of these comic books are worth a ton of money. We're talking like tens of thousands of dollars for a comic book. I would never pay that, but somebody would. And like The Walking Dead, if you get The Walking Dead Volume 1, where they only made 15,000 copies, it's worth a lot of money if you have one of those now, because people are wanting to buy that to complete their collection. Anyway, this story has to do with that. Man bought an Incredible Hulk 181 for $5 in an antique store. And that was the first appearance of Wolverine. Well, apparently that's a very hot item. So this item ended up being worth a lot of money. Let's find out. I don't know if we can find this out, but we'll try and figure it out. How much is it worth? Okay, we'll copy this. And we'll see how much it's worth. Wow. So the first full appearance of Wolverine, and now this depends on the grade of the piece itself, but how much is the 181 worth? It can sell for over $15,000, and the record sale is $23,000. This is just for a comic book. This is a comic book that you would spend 25 cents or 50 cents or whatever on. And in fact, here's an Incredible Hulk 181, $69,500 used on eBay. That's really insane. I couldn't imagine spending that kind of money. But somebody does. Now, makes me want to go out looking for them, but the thing is, I don't know anything about comic books, so I wouldn't be good at spending that kind of money. But the Comic Book Men store, or TV show, is really kind of cool. It's not, it ended in 2018, but I watched every episode up till I'm on the last one, last season. So, Worm, and I'm in the fog. Okay. Some of these comic books are just insane. But this guy bought one and he made his money off of this thing, and he bought it for $5. I've been looking at, like, I wanted to get the Walking Dead comics, and I just don't think I'm going to spend that kind of money on this stuff. That's insane. That's insane type of stuff. But hey, somebody's going to spend it. People that collect that stuff, they're totally into that. But I don't know. In fact, Kevin Smith, the director, sold his comic book collection to help fund his directing career, and he made his first film based on the money that he maxed out all his credit cards, and he sold all his comic books so he could make his first film. So got to be something said for that. I can't imagine having anything worth that kind of money, but it'd be nice to think. When I think about my guitar collection, and I have a couple guitars that are worth some money, but I have nothing that's worth freaking $69,000. And comic books are a lot smaller to be in a space than that. But anyway, this is really something I found interesting. There was a company that went out and decided to give their employees a minimum wage of $70,000 a year. You think that would sound insane, right? It does sound insane. Whatever happened to the company that decided to pay all its employees $70,000 minimum wage? Back in December 2015, Dan Price of the credit card processing company Gravity Payments decided to pay everybody in his company at least $70,000 a year, including himself. In the immediate aftermath, only 2 longtime employees left the company out of 120. Rush Limbaugh called it a case study in MBA programs on how socialism does not work, while Price himself cut his salary down from $1 million to match $70,000 he was paying his employees. Turned out he was about to be embroiled in a lawsuit with his business partner and brother, who claimed that Price was receiving this excessive compensation, although Price prevailed in the lawsuit, and there was undoubtedly a PR motivation behind it. 5 years later, the company still has an impressive employee retention rate of over 90%, and still profitable. Then the coronavirus messed up everything, and like it did for everyone, the small business transactions, the bulk of the Gravity business, dropping more than 50% practically overnight. That's where the story takes a socialist Seattle credit card company more interesting. From the Toronto Star, it said, in a short time, Gravity lost half of its revenue, which mainly comes from small businesses hit hardest by the crisis. In early April, Dan Price, one of the company's founders and its CEO, convened the 200 employees for an urgent Zoom call, sharing with them the fact that the company was burning $1.5 million a month cash. If it continued to do that and no action was taken, Price warned the company would run out of cash in 4 months. That's scary. 98% of the employees agreed to cut their wages in the Zoom interview. 10 wrote that they were willing to work for free, and several dozen offered a 30% reduction in their wages. When I saw it, I was so moved, the tears in my eyes. Gravity adopted the solution proposed by the workers with a slight modification. No employee's salary was reduced by more than half. And for those who earn less than $100,000, the maximum reduction was 30%. By June 2020, the company had stabilized and began paying back the employees who had sacrificed their income. In other businesses, in any other business, I'd creeped out by a notion of workers sacrificing for a boss like that. But it sounds like Price may have really succeeded in building a team who believed in their mission and vowed their company. That shows that the company that, if the company I worked for would have been like that, I would have stayed there. But they wanted to get rid of the people that were making money, and they were definitely headed towards me. But I think it's really cool that they start at you at 70,000, and we're able to do well in the economy, and then this pandemic really screwed them over. But that their people were that loyal that they were willing to take wage cuts so that they could keep their business. And that's what you call loyalty. And that's the thing I didn't understand where I was working, that they were trying to get rid of all the older people so that they could pay the younger people, chump change to do the same job. And it led me to having to want to leave the business because of what they were doing. And I just said, I don't really need this. So, fortunately I was able to leave on my own terms and did so. But I really didn't want to leave because I liked my job. Just didn't like how they were doing things. So, you live and you learn, and you make your choices, and that's it. So, this is disgusting. Pennsylvania State Rep mocks transgender Biden nominee on Facebook and then apologizes. This was a Republican, I think. Yeah, Republican. Pennsylvania legislator shared on Facebook an image mocking the appearance of the state's recently departed Health Secretary, Dr. Rachel Levine, a transgender woman who had been nominated to serve in Biden administration, and then offered a general apology. So, somebody, what he said was that, shoot, I gotta remember what he said. He said, he made fun of her, and I can't remember what he said. Now I feel like I can't remember what it was. But it was really rude. It was just, he said, let's see if I can find it. I thought I wrote it down. Guess I didn't. Let's see. Might have been here. Let's see if this is it. Let's see. Of course it's not there. I forget what he said. It was really, really bad. And it was just really uncalled for. And Levine has been doing a good job, and I'm glad that Levine was offered that other position, because I just think that someone that works hard, regardless of what people think they look like or whatever. Let me see. I really can't find it. I can't believe it. I read it earlier today, and I thought it was in that article, and it was another article that I read that had it in there, but he was just really rude about it. And I think it should be taken away from let's see here. Nope, I'm not going to be able to figure it out. Oh well. Anyway, a person in that person's position should not be making fun of anyone, and he should, they've made people lose their jobs for less than that. I just think it sucks if there was such a person that would make fun of someone who's actually doing good for the country, and he got away with it. And all we had to do was say, "I'm sorry." So it's people like that deserve to lose their job. They're just bullies. Anyway, okay, I'm not going to do that one this week because I'm going to save that. Oh, this was cool. How much would you pay for a tip for something that was just a meal? 7 employees at an Estes Park, Colorado cafe are $200 richer after a customer left a $1,400 tip on a $20 bill, equating to $200 an employee. Top Notch Bakery and Cafe, which sits on top of the Rocky Mountains, posted photos of the receipt with "COVID sucks" written on it, and a smiley face from the generous diner at on their Facebook site. That's just really, really cool. This person went in there, bought a $20 meal, and decided to tip really, really good. Tipped $1,400, and to me, that's awesome. You don't see enough of that going around. It's just awesome that they made those people's day, and just was awesome that they cared enough to leave money like that when all of us can use extra money, and especially now. And then I read this other one. This guy left a $3,000 tip for a single beer in Cleveland. So customer left $3,000 tip for a single beer as a restaurant voluntarily closed because of the pandemic. Man walked in Sunday, ordered a beer, and asked for the check, which came to $7.02. The man wished him well and told him to share the tip with 4 employees who were there. As the man walked out, he looked down at the tip and realized that he had left a $3,000 tip. That was just awesome too. I mean, geez, you don't see that kind of thing happening. And I don't think I've ever left that big of a tip. I've given somebody, twice what I've paid, but I don't think I've ever tipped that good. So that's just unreal. But hey, it's always good to give back in the world. And if I had that kind of money to spend, I'd probably do it. So, I don't know. I think it's really cool that those people still exist. Target employees received a $500 pandemic bonus. That I thought was pretty cool too. You work hard through the pandemic and you wonder why you're doing it. You're putting yourself at risk every time you're around people. And, I was talking to somebody who, asked about why I haven't been looking to play out right now. And I said about, the pandemic. And they said, well, why are you worried about that? I said, because in the bar, people are going to be less inhibited about crowding your space. And it only takes one person. It only takes one person out of, say, the 300 people that are in that bar to cause lots of problems. And I just don't want to be one of the people that gets the pandemic or gets the virus because somebody didn't take care of the people that were around them. So it's a problem. I mean, I'm playing out in August, and I'm hoping by then things are better, and they should be better by then. But I got to be careful because I got to take care of me. So, okay, then what do we got here? This is interesting too from Target. It says Target's pulling products allegedly made with forced monkey labor. Now I read that, and I said, well, what's that mean? Because I kind of think that what's forced monkey labor? Well, apparently the people are forcing monkeys to get coconuts, and they're basically have them on chains, and they're forcing them to pick up coconuts all day with chains around their neck, and then they have to sleep in small cages and stuff like that. So because of that, they don't want to be they don't want any part of the monkey labor. So they have decided they're not going to support monkey labor. I can't imagine people doing that, but I mean, it's a cruel world out there, and there's lots of people that are bizarre enough to not worry about anything but themselves. A Disney salesperson ends up calling the police to help abuse victim who was calling them to order tickets, but they weren't really calling to order tickets. They were calling to order tickets because the person that was abusing them was still there. So they called, and they just basically the salesperson started asking yes and no questions because they heard there was a voice in the background, and they realized that the person in Pennsylvania was calling Disney World to escape her abusive partner by directing law enforcement to her home. The woman called the theme park under the pretense of booking tickets, then signaled to the employee on the phone that she was in danger. During the course of the January 9th call, the worker heard the woman telling someone to get off of me or get away, and the Disney worker started asking the victim discreet questions that were yes or no to determine the nature of the situation. First, she asked if she was actually calling to book a trip. She said no. The worker followed up by asking if someone was hurting her. She said yes. The Disney employee called the cops, who responded to Dover, PA, home and arrested the man, Wayne Terry Shiflett, 38, on charges of strangulation, terrorist threats, harassment, and aggravated assault. The victim told officers that Shiflett had grabbed her by the throat, choked her, and threatened to kill her, and she displayed visible signs of the attack, according to the report. It was the third time that Shiflett had allegedly beaten up the woman, who had reportedly told police she was scared for her life. The suspect was apparently enraged when the abused woman told him that his gig as a fire extinguisher salesperson was not a real job. So, yeah. Anyway, so Disney saved her life. Find that very interesting. Words like that don't need repeating. It's pretty good at what? Let's see here. But they require... That's true. Okay. I read it backwards, so I didn't notice it right away. Okay. Terrorist, okay, couple of lines. Let's see, Amazon. Okay. There's a full moon. It's called Wolf's. The first Wolf's Moon is coming, and you can actually get to see the Wolf's Moon. So, the Wolf's Moon is something I've never heard of before today. So that is interesting to me, that in all my years that I've never heard that phrase. But that being said, it sounds pretty interesting. So the Wolf's Moon, it says, on Thursday, January 28th, the Wolf Moon will reach its peak, taking over the night sky at the fullest full moon of the year. And per the old famers, it says Old Famer? Isn't it supposed to be Old Farmers Almanac? The January full moon was named Wolf Moon because wolves more often are heard howling at this time. It's traditionally believed that wolves howl due to hunger during the winter, but we know today that wolves howl for other reasons. Howling and other wolf vocalizations are generally used to define the territory, locate pack members, reinforce social bonds, and coordinate hunting. Other names used for the January full moon include cold moon, frost exploding moon, freeze up moon, and names of moons often come from Native American culture or date back to colonial times. So, what to look for? So, experts say the best time to see the full moon will be at moonrise or at moonset, as the moon will be too bright at its peak for people to look at. In New York City, moonrise will reportedly occur around 5 p.m. and sunset will be approximately 5:09 on January 28th on the West Coast. Los Angeles is set Los Angeles is expected to see the sunset at 5:20 p.m. Pacific time and the moonrise at 5:24 p.m. So you confirm your city's moonrise and sunset by using the Old Farmer's Almanac calculator. And so there you go. You can see it. It says here, in order to clearly see Thursday's Wolf Moon, experts recommend looking from the second-story balcony or window. The higher the better, as long as it's safe. Once in position, just wait for the moonrise and you should be able to see the circular phenomenon at around that time. If you happen to miss the Wolf Moon, you can simply love stargazing. The next full moon is expected Saturday, February 27th. This is called the Snow Moon. So there you go. That's what we all set our lives for, just to see the Wolf Moon, which I never heard of. All right. This is kind of funny. Amazon's Alexa can now now act on its own hunches to turn off lights and more. So, according to this, Amazon, Alexa, are you there, Alexa?
Yes, I'm here.
So,
I listen once I hear the wake word.
these new Sense hunches, the company calls hunches, Alexa's been able to sense the habits and ask them since 2018. The company calls them hunches, but before this update, she would ask for permission before acting on something like lowering the thermostat before you went to bed. The new proactive hunches are enabled. Amazon will skip asking permission and just do it. And it's kind of cool because it also will be, it'll turn lights off that you left on by accident and stuff like that you just didn't think about. I kind of think that's a neat little thing that they've added to that. So they're also going to have, Alexa's got a security Guard Plus subscription service. So basically, if you can have the service alert you if it hears certain types of sounds in your home, or access human agents who call emergency. It'll offer access to human agents who can call emergency services on your behalf, similar to ADT, but it'll be looking for different types of sounds and different types of things. And you can actually get, I think, cameras for it too. So it's going to have an energy dashboard app that can monitor and estimate how much power compatible devices that are set up to your Alexa device, and manufacturer support of it. It could include anything from TVs to water heaters, and Amazon has a whole list of compatible products. So it's kind of cool. I think it's an interesting thing when you see these devices that were never even in existence 10 years ago, and now it's a part of everybody's life, or a lot of people's lives. I mean, I've got like 5 or 6 Amazon devices that are hooked up into my network, just so that I can use them whenever I need them. And I can play my Sirius satellite through them, I can play radio through them, I can use them as an intercom. It's kind of cool. So, but the hunches are kind of cool. And also, you can have your Amazon Echo device sound like a dog barking in your house if your security cameras sense movement when you're not home. So you can, use that for your own security type thing. And even if you don't have a dog, you can make it sound like you have a dog. I think it's kind of a cool little thing. And yeah, I mean, what the heck? If they're gonna bark like a dog, you're all set. So they got really cool things. Gotta delete this so I don't do it again. Okay. So Puerto Rico's in a state of emergency. It's over gender violence. That, I think, is a weird thing to think about right now when we have the pandemic and everything. But apparently, it's a pretty big thing going on down there in Puerto Rico. So what's going on here? So there we go. Puerto Rican government responded to this weekend to the plea of thousands who have asked the island leaders to address the ongoing crisis of gender violence. The newly sworn-in government, Pedro Pierluisi, signed an exclusive order Sunday declaring a state of emergency that would allocate resources to deal with the gender violence in Puerto Rico. Gender violence is a social evil based on ignorance and attitudes that cannot have space or tolerance in Puerto Rico that we aspire to. He said in a news release, "For too long, vulnerable victims have suffered the consequence of systematic machismo, inequality, discrimination, lack of education, lack of guidance, and above all, lack of action. It's my duty and commitment as governor to establish a stop to gender violence. For these purposes, I have declared a state of emergency. Fighting does work." The program director at Tala Salud, a nonprofit organization that's been helping women in the island deal with gender violence crisis. So, as cases of gender-based killings continue to rise, groups in the island have been demanding concrete action from the government to address the crisis. So, those are all things that, fortunately we don't have to worry about right here, but at least not in the situation like they have. But that's the first I'd heard of gender violence. But, I guess in a matter of speaking, we've had gender violence all along because people kill their spouses and all that. So, yeah, that's just bizarre. We got 15 minutes. Do I want to go to I'm going to go to the next. I think I had stuff here. Okay. This is a weird one. 15-year-old stabbed during a fight in Louisiana Walmart. 4 younger girls arrested. It's such a weird thing to think that kids are stabbing kids. And for what? These kids, not only did they end up killing a girl, they end up being arrested, 4 of them, and their lives have changed forever because, they're going to end up probably getting prosecuted. And the weird thing about it is because they're 15, they're going to be getting lighter sentences than they probably should get. 4 juveniles were arrested after a 15-year-old died during a fight that led to a stabbing inside a local, Louisiana Walmart. Deputies were dispatched to the report of the stabbing in the store. Investigators determined the unidentified victim had been stabbed during a fight between several girls. She died of the injuries. The knives were found to have been stolen from the actual store where they were. This is just a problem we're having with kids having access to weapons, in some cases stealing weapons. It's really heartbreaking to come in and pick up the pieces because so many families are damaged by this. The 4 suspects, 12, 13, and 14, were booked into the juvenile detention center. 1 faces possible second-degree murder. The other 3 face charges of principal to second-degree murder. And just really a shame that poor little girl had to die just because of a stupid little spat over who knows what. But those people are out there, and those people just don't care about anything but themselves, and now, it just is kind of a sad thing. Speaking of which, murder-suicide suspected in deaths of 4 family members in Exton, Pennsylvania. So, these things, if you want to kill somebody and then kill yourself, it'd be better just to kill yourself and let the person live. I never understood. I had a friend that killed his wife and then killed himself, and I never even knew that they had problems. And just so sad. Authorities are awaiting autopsy reports of the deaths of 4 family members who were found in the Pennsylvania home. Police responded to the home in Chester County on Sunday, and after an out-of-state relative was unable to contact the family. The initial investigation and evidence at the scene indicate that this was an incident is a result of a murder-suicide and is no threat to the community at large. The incident is being investigated. They didn't really tell us much about it, but it's just, it's just a shame. 3 people were killed, and then the guy killed himself. So, just as the world's just not right when something like that can happen. Former TSA agent is convicted for tricking women into showing breasts at an LAX. You know, it's such a shame that this is even a story. It's such a shame that somebody took their power to the next level, I guess, because we are forced to comply with the LAX's, or I should say, to the TSA rules, and you never know when they're being abused. But this person here, fortunately, got hammered on this one. Former Transportation Security Administration agent who's accused of tricking a traveler into showing her breasts as she went through security at Los Angeles International Airport pleaded no contest to falsely imprisonment. And Jonathan Lomelli pleaded guilty to a charge felony count and was sentenced to 60 days in jail, 52 classes addressing sexual compulsion, and 2 years probation. Lomelli was barred from working as a security guard and was charged using fraud and deceit to falsely imprison the woman in 2019. I don't even know if that's even enough to I don't know that was harsh enough. I mean, I don't know. If I was that woman, I would want more than that. I would want them to definitely punish the guy. But I guess they felt that was enough. We got this juvenile arrested in mass shooting, leaving 6 dead in Indy's northeast side yesterday. No, that was Sunday. Oh, I forgot what today was. Sunday morning shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis left multiple people dead, including a pregnant woman and her unborn child. They arrested a suspect in what they call the city's largest casualty shooting in more than a decade. The suspect's name and photo are not being released since the suspect is a juvenile, and detectives do not believe any additional people were involved. Yesterday we promised swift justice on this heinous act. I think there was somebody that escaped the situation. I believe I read that earlier, that there was another person that he did not get, and I don't know that I'm thinking this is the one. Let's see here. I think this is it says here, let's see, 30 hours, okay. The victims were 42-year-old Kezzy Childs, 42-year-old Raymond Childs, 18-year-old Elijah Childs, 13-year-old Rita Childs, 19-year-old Kira Hawkins, and baby boy Hawkins, the child of Kira. Just how cruel can you be to kill a freaking pregnant woman and her child? I don't know. Such a shame. But at least they caught the kid, and hopefully he'll be prosecuted to the greatest extent. Let's see here. Alright, now we'll go into the next. Got a lot of stuff that was really cool. We're running out of time though. Frey unveils the new 1800 watt electric mountain bikes. This is really amazing that they have these things. They now have these electric, as you know, I'm into EVs, electric vehicles. this is the next step in electric vehicles. Now, there were electric bikes for a long time, but this electric bike is really cool. This is, these are really mountain bikes that are electric. So, I looked these things up to figure out how much are these electric bikes. They're like $3,000. They're like crazy expensive. And I guess people think it's worth the money, but I could buy a real motorcycle at that price. So I don't know. It's just really crazy that 60-volt e-bike is this is a Chinese company that I was looking at the prices of them, and I just was amazed at how pricey they are. And Harley Davidson has an e-bike, and that's like $5,000. I'll tell you what, for $5,000 I could buy me a real motorcycle, not just an e-bike. So I just think it's crazy that people are spending that kind of money on that. I guess to some people it's worth it, but I don't know. I just can't imagine spending that kind of money on a bike. And usually biking was meant for people trying to get a lot of exercise, and I don't think they're getting a lot of exercise. As it turns out, $33.99 is the loudest bike I've ever ridden. And this is the first joke you could hear about Serial 1, Harley Davidson's e-bike spinoff, is how Harley managed to make them set off car alarms and wake up the neighbors. As it turns out, $3,399 Mosh City is the loudest bike I've ever ridden. That's a good thing, though it has more to do with me than the bike. It says here, full disclosure, Serial 1 rented one minivan and drove from Milwaukee to New York City with its full range of e-bikes jammed inside. I only had a few hours before an early winter sunset, but I was able to rip around on the company's most affordable and most expensive bikes. I bought my girlfriend's Brooks saddle with me, and I'd recommend you do the same if you buy one. Serial 1 set up its test ride next to Brooklyn's Prospect Park, so I was able to do some sustained riding and all that. It says here, the most expensive model of Serial 1s are the Rush models, which run from $4,400 to $5,000, depending on whether you get the step-through version or the one with the conventional-looking frame. It says here, the Rush and Mosh models offer the same power. The base motor is a German Bros S Mag, rated at 250 watts and 66 pound-foot torque. The top tier, Rush City speed, gets the Bros TF Mag, which is also as good. 250 watts of power and 66 pounds of foot torque. It says here, the motor doesn't make these feel any different, though. What does change is the vibe, is the straightforwardness of single speed hub, which comes with the Mosh, although the Rush models have self-shifting NVOLO hub. The NVOLO hub is the CVT, the same as the continuous variable transmission found in the Prius or the Rogue, as the car nerds would recall a 1960s DAF. Bicycles would also know it as would know the NVOLO as the brand new name for the new Vinci. This was a CVT bike hub that started appearing. Anyway, regardless, these bikes are very expensive, but they're electric, and you can get all over the place. You can go around, and I just can't imagine spending this kind of money on a bike. But could be because I don't ride bike. And to the guys that ride the bikes, I'm sure they could. I'm sure they pay for themselves. I just think that's pretty crazy. Oh, this is funny. So this is this guy here. His name is Rich, and he has a YouTube. Rich Benoit, and basically he buys destroyed cars, wrecked cars, and he rebuilds them. And he rebuilds them from sometimes the ground up. Sometimes he has to do major things on them. Sometimes it's not as major. And he's bought Teslas before. And Tesla has put a stop to a couple of his units that he rebuilt from using their charging station. Because they can do that through software. Well, this guy has taken this Tesla that he has, and he ripped out everything and turned it into a gas car. This is so weird and so awkward. He bought a Model S, and he converted it into a combustion engine car. Just hard to believe that he would do that, but he did that. So I guess it says here, shifting gears aggressively in a track would make a driver punch the computer several times. If it has failed already, it will make the V8 Model S a private rage room. If it's still working, it's inevitable. It will make its inevitable demise accelerate. Not as fast as an electric Model S would, but for sure, persistently as a V8. So, but yeah, he built a V8 out of this Model S. So, yeah, it no longer has a frunk; it now has an engine up front. I just think that's funny, and it's because it kind of defeats the purpose of the electric car to have a gas motor in it. So I guess you still have the cool-looking model, the cool-looking body of it, but yeah, it's no longer a very cool thing. So, all right. Well, guess what? Time is up, and it's time to say goodbye. So, as always, I'm going to finish this out here. There we go. I don't know if this is the right one. That's not the right one. I forgot where it's at. There's that. There it is. Thank you for coming to see the show. And hopefully we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channels. And as soon as I hit this button, we should be able to rock and roll on it. Where'd it go? I lost it. Oh, I can't find it. There it is. That's it. All right. I will talk to you guys later, and thank you for showing up and hanging out with me. And we'll see you next week.